For years, I had no idea I had OCD. I mean, I didn't even know what OCD was. I just assumed the things happening in my head were normal quirks of the mind. After all, everyone thinks about weird stuff sometimes, right? And since I've never been inside anyone else's head, how was I supposed to know what counts as normal and what doesn't? Moreover, it all started pretty gradually when I was around 21 or 22 during college. So I actually spent a good chunk of my life without OCD. What's sad is that I can barely remember what that felt like anymore. What it was like not to spend so much time trapped inside my own head. But to be fair, I already spent a lot of time in my own world even before OCD. Partly because I was studying mostly to please my parents, especially dad. So I wasn't exactly happy. I was following someone else's path instead of my own. And partly because I was constantly reading books, writing, playing guitar, and in general doing mostly indoor stuff. I can only speculate whether that weird combination of anxiety and creative work somehow triggered the OCD, or whether it was already there and just happened to emerge during that period. At first, it didn't show up as intrusive thoughts. It was more like intrusive words. For some reason, the name of one completely random local writer kept popping into my head. I would be minding my own business and suddenly his name would appear out of nowhere and start looping in my head. Then there would be hours or even days of peace, and then it would come back again for no reason. And that went on for months. Those were my OCD beginnings. Compared to what it eventually turned into, there was nothing. Based on what I've read and my own self-assessment, I seem to have a form of OCD called memory hoarding. My OCD is completely invisible from the outside. I don't have any rituals, no physical compulsions. That's why almost nobody knows about it. I've only talked about it with a few close friends. Because honestly, it's hard to explain. Imagine that feeling when you can't remember what you were about to say, or when you can't quite recall the name of the song or movie. It's right on the tip of your tongue, but it keeps slipping away. Now take that frustration, that anxiety, that tension, and multiply it by 1,000. That's one of the states my OCD puts me in. Okay, let's move even further. A person without OCD will eventually shrug and say, whatever, who cares, and moves on. But in my case, that desperate state of rumination can last for hours, sometimes days. Outwardly, I function normally, but internally, I'm suffering, obsessively trying to remember. It drowns out everything else. It destroys my concentration, my focus, true obsession after all. But then there's another difference. Obsessively trying to remember what? It can literally be anything. What a joke did my friend told me 2 months ago? What business idea did I have last year? What exactly I was thinking about before I fell asleep yesterday? What was I thinking about this morning? How did I arrive at this particular thought? What exactly triggered this chain of thinking? These episodes can be caused by absolutely anything, completely at random. It's like a morbid need to have total control over my thoughts and memories. And to this day, I still don't know why some things get caught in that sticky web and others don't. Because as I said, I don't feel the need to remember an entire conversation from last week, for example. Sometimes it's just a single sentence I said that somehow seems connected to whatever I'm thinking about right now. My brain or my mind, or whatever we want to call it, has this strange ability to connect my current thoughts to things that happened years ago. But it never gives me the full picture. It only hands me a few puzzle pieces and forces me to put them together. Not voluntarily, I don't choose to do it, I'm compelled. It forces me to remember, and when I can't, it starts eating me alive. A feeling of existential dread kicks in. A feeling that whatever I'm trying to remember is critically important, essential to my future, some brilliant, life-changing insight, even though in reality it's usually complete nonsense. Sometimes it even borders on hallucination, where OCD convinces you that something happened when it never did. During the worst periods, years ago, I would mentally recite every important thought and sentence that had gotten stuck in my head throughout the day. And God help me if I couldn't remember one of them. Sometimes I would be trying to reconstruct things from several days earlier. These days I go through good periods and bad periods. Sometimes I can go days or even weeks feeling completely fine. I can genuinely tell myself, who cares, fuck it. And then there are days when I'm miserable, tormented by the need to remember what I was thinking about 5 minutes ago. The worst feeling comes when the forgotten thing is connected to something I genuinely care about, Like creative work, for example. An idea for a video, a song, a melody, a short story. That's when this automatic line kicks in. That was probably the idea that would have changed your life, and you've forgotten it. And now your life is ruined. What's interesting is that I'm fully aware on a rational level that all of this is nonsense. I know it. I don't want to give in to it. But that's exactly why it's a disorder. You can't simply and easily choose not to do it. It's almost like being split into two people. Well, then, how do I fight it? From my experience, the best thing you can do is leave it alone. When an episode hits, try to keep doing whatever you are doing. Don't give it your attention, don't ruminate. Don't run back through the train tracks of your thoughts looking for a source, even though I know how unbelievably difficult that is. At its core, it's an addiction. Every time you start digging through your memories and eventually succeed in remembering, you get a hit. Because remembering feels good. It's a huge relief, right? But that's exactly how you train your mind, like a dog, to believe that suffering and obsessing over the past is worthwhile. Because eventually a reward comes. A reward that in 99.9% of cases means absolutely nothing beyond the simple fact that you remembered. Lately, I've been realizing that without OCD, I would probably be a pretty happy person, or at least a happier one. Of course, there are other things in life that have nothing to do with OCD. Or maybe they do. Maybe I would be somewhere completely different if I hadn't spent years fighting my own mind. Anyway, I wanted to share this because maybe it will help someone realize what's actually going on with them, so they don't spend years lost and confused the way I did. And honestly, just preparing this video triggered a few pretty rough episodes. But we keep moving forward. Always forward. Take care.